In the year 2000 is when I began writing books. It was the first book that came out, which was Windy City Ghosts, which was a collection of ghost stories, true stories in the Chicagoland area, and it's still one of the best-selling books that I have. I've always tried to seek out the people that have had these experiences to get them to tell their stories the way they happened to them. The first books that I wrote was Windy City Ghosts 1 and 2, which were basically collections of ghost stories in the Chicagoland area, just showing people what was actively paranormal in the Chicagoland area, just different sites that people could visit, from cemeteries to public sites to private locations in some cases. A little bit of stories that I've collected from various forms of the media, from either newspaper articles, documentaries, books, microfilm, microfiche, going and actually talking and interviewing people in many cases. It's always nice to get stories, but it's much nicer to get it right from the horse's mouth. One of my books that came out was on spook lights, called Illuminating the Darkness, The Mystery of Spook Lights, which was a compilation of about 20 years of research that I did in investigating ghost lights across the country, which are unexplainable balls of light that people have seen along dirt roads or old country trails, near railroad tracks, in cemeteries, or near bodies of water. These could be spirits in the form of balls of light, but they don't always show up as we do, as in a form of a person. Sometimes they simply show up as a ball of light or an energy ball. And I had a great time researching this book, talking to people and visiting many of these locations myself, and sometimes actually seeing these spook lights and trying to figure out if they were real, if there was a natural explanation for them. One of my favorite stories in there is the Joplin Ghost Light, which was in Joplin, Missouri. It's one place I've been to about a dozen times, starting back as early as Labor Day weekend of 1982. And right up until about 2007. So we've been back and forth there a number of times. It's one of the few lights that seems to appear pretty regularly along a section of what's called the Devil's Promenade. And it's seen as a yellow to red, sometimes white ball of light, maybe about the size of a basketball or a soccer ball, that seems to come down the road. So many people have had pictures taken of that light from the 50s right on up to the present day. I have so many pictures that people have sent me. We've had a number of experiences where I've actually seen the light on one occasion through high-powered binoculars where it didn't even look like a ball of light at all. It looked like a diamond-shaped object with a hollow center that you could actually see trees and bushes through. When the light dipped down below the hill, you could actually see that it left behind twinkles of phosphorescence, like little fireflies or something had left behind of some of its own essence, if you will. When we got to the top of the hill, just a few moments later, the thing was down the road about a mile. It had gotten from there to there just almost instantly. People have actually seen the light come up, rise up, split into two sections, and shoot off in the woods in both directions. The Joplin Globe has sent me some very interesting photographs of the light splitting off into two that they took when they were out there back in the 1980s. So it's a very famous ghost light. The last two books actually that I wrote were more of how-to books. The Field Guide to Spirit Photography, for instance, which was how to better your chances to get images on photographs and what to do with the finished product, how to analyze it, how to take pictures, what to look for when you get the finished product, and what kind of cameras to use, and so forth. My latest book, The Field Guide to Ghost Hunting Techniques, is all about the whole investigating process, from the interview process to working with equipment, to doing EVP, electronic voice phenomena, to, again, a little bit about photography, and how to determine if a place is really haunted, what to look for, certain equipment to purchase, and what equipment to avoid. So it kind of evolved from just telling ghost stories, and I still love to tell a good ghost story, to really helping people to become better researchers themselves.